Mid-Pond damage report. Welcome back. It's officially been 2 weeks since we got back from Mid-Pond. Camera's dirty. Car's dirty. Haven't really looked at it since we got back. Pulled it off the trailer, put it on jack stands, and have been absolutely way too busy with work to fool with it. Finally gonna dive into it, see if we can figure out what caused the fire, what all is damaged. There's Bailey's helmet. And what we're gonna have to go through and get fixed to get it ready for Knuckle Up's DLC function in July. Alright, first things first, the old Hot Pocket. Usually, these are all tucked up semi-nice. I'll insert a picture of what that normally looks like now. So, day one of Pond, I had an issue where the negative battery terminal, I had an issue where the negative terminal kept coming loose. It happened like 2 or 3 times. The third time, it actually came off the battery, which caused it to basically just free volt. Everything got 1,000,000 volts and 1,000,000 degrees, and it burnt a couple little connections down here, right? That was Friday. Me and Charles, shout out Charles, got all of this sorted for the rest of the weekend, had it wrapped back in a DEI heat sleeve. I wish I had kept it because it honestly saved most of it from the fire. So I don't think that the wiring caused the fire. I think the little bit that is burnt that you see in here, it's not too much. It's really just the wraps on a lot of the wires more than anything. But I think these which burnt were from the fire after it had already started. Because as you can see, it's pretty cooked throughout in there. The blow-off valve's like relatively melted. I mean, it really wasn't too bad. The chase base stuff held up great. That's pretty crazy. Starter relay, not so much. Don't know if I can get that to focus. Starter relay, not so much. Fuel line's gonna have to be replaced. I mean, that's cooked. The paint all in here is cooked. So it really looks more than anything like everything half cooked on the top side of the engine, and the fire was actually caused by something else. I guess next thing to do will try and be get under the car and figure out if something happened under the car. Right before I'll put the clip of when the fire happened up like now. If you see when I hit the first rumble strip, the car kind of bounces up. And I think maybe when that happened, that something underneath the car came a little bit loose or had busted. I went off pretty crazy Saturday, which I'll put in here. With Bash, who I actually bought the Japan S14 from, which was a crazy like round circle thing. Shout out Bash. We went off pretty bad, so I don't know if some stuff pre-broke. I guess we'll just look. I don't know. I guess we'll just look. Alright, well, first order of business, I guess it has leaked an obscene amount since it's been parked here. I put this under to try and see if it would just drip on that, but I guess where I put it missed it entirely. So I don't really know. The oil pan is definitely smashed. That's pretty smashed. This is super smashed. See if we can get that to focus. That's actually cracked entirely in half there. Okay, let's dig. Okay, now that we are under here, my oil pan is absolutely smoked. It's definitely leaking out of the back of here. So I guess in the top left of the screen, I'm just going to start a little tally of all the things that I see broken that I need. So, oil pan, that's smashed in the middle. We'll call it a pickup tube as well. Caster arms is cooked. That's all the way cracked. So we'll say 2 of those. This lower control arm is definitely cooked. We'll call it one of those. The stances look to be good. Shout out stance. They look to be good, I think. We'll have to see. This fire extinguisher shit is absolutely everywhere also, which is pretty whack. Alright, I believe I have found the culprit. I'm gonna see if I can see it from the top side to confirm. Be able to get to the side. I guess we'll have to see. Okay, yeah, so that's what happened. Okay, so here is my engine mount bolt. Snapped. Interesting. Doesn't look like it's cracked anywhere. Interesting. Also pretty wild. The top puck is entirely missing. Or I guess that would be the bottom puck because it goes in like that technically. With this side facing up. And there's the culprit of the fire. Okay. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see this. That power steering line is broken from contact with that guy right there. How did that get down there, you may ask? Well, I don't actually have any proof of this, but this is my grand theory for what happened. In the video, you'll see when I flick the entry, the car hits the rumble strip and bounces. I believe when that happened, that was the oil pan. I'm upside down. I believe that was the oil pan making contact with the rumble strip because it is, I mean, it's really hard to tell on camera, but it's probably a good 2-3 inches pushed up. It's smoked. Assuming happened. Again, this is entirely speculation, but just based off of the events that happened. I believe when I spun out and hit the rumble strip, that broke that engine mount bolt, which then allowed the engine to come up and come back down. When that came up and came back down, the down pipe right here, the down pipe made contact with the high pressure line there on the power steering rack. I was on like my third hot lap. Car was hot. I'm sure the exhaust was 500-600 degrees. That braking would have sprayed ATF all over my exhaust, which would have caused an immediate fire. And I also noticed all of the rushed repair that I did broke from whatever happened, so gonna have to do that again too. Yeah, back to the drawing board really. Super sucked because I really wanted to drive DLC with Knuckle Up and everybody in a little bit, but that ain't gonna happen. So I guess now we'll get parts on the way. Next video, we'll be hopefully diving into it. I don't know if I'm gonna, but back to the drawing board. I'll catch you all this time next week with hopefully tearing into this thing, getting some stuff done. Luckily, the paint's fine. The car, exterior-wise, is fine. The engine bay paint's a little cooked, but I guess you know how it goes. The hood is fine, which is awesome, because that would have been a huge pain to have to redux. It needs a wash, but it's fine. Need to do the underside of the hood while I'm here. Grand scheme of things, the car's not that bad. We're all good. We'll be back out there hopefully in no time to go do some more driving before we go back out. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you guys this time next week.